want to see how you all feel about this. A new report from Bankrate finds that most American couples keep some of their money separate. In this Watching Your Wallet, consumer investigator Rachel DePompa talks to an expert about how people are making this tactic work for their families.
Only 26% of couples keep their financial accounts completely separate these days. Ted Rossman with Bankrate says it's generational. The boomers are the biggest subscribers to this model. He says only 1 in 4 couples completely separate their finances, mostly Gen Zers. Gen X and millennials are the biggest believers in the yours, mine, and ours financial situation.
I believe there's actually a lot to like about this yours, mine, and ours thing because you work together on joint financial goals and obligations, but yet you also have some money that's yours and yours alone. That can be a good thing because people don't like the other person looking over their shoulder.
He says it often works well for people because you agree to certain dollar amounts together, but you also have some money left over for buying what you want. He says just make sure it's not a secret and that you keep up the communication.
When it's a secret, that's really a breach of trust. And that can really come back to undermine not just your finances, but even your more emotional kind of relationship. So don't keep secrets, but do talk about these things. If you want to keep some money separate and you and your spouse agree, that can actually be a healthy way to have some independence, but also still be working together on some joint goals and bills.
Rossman says it's not always fun to talk about money, but try your best to take the stigma and judgment out of the conversation. He also says set a timer, make it a quick conversation so you don't dread it. With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Rachel DePompa.
Our thanks.